Can I say something about the didactic thing, which I would also say that's like it's an explicit instruction, which is really important. Like explicit, if you're going to instruct anything, if you're going to give an instruction, it needs to be explicit. And here's a misconception that I think happens, right? Someone's a more conservative teacher is listening to this and thinking, well, if you're gonna do that, the Socratic thing, Barry, and have the kids sort of, it's more student centered and it's not structured in the way that I'm used to, and so the kids are bringing things, and then you're asking these Socratic questions. Where does the explicit instruction happen? Because there is an idea that explicit instruction means it's all teacher centered, and that by talking about a Socratic method or teaching for active learning and that sort of thing, it's not teacher centered. But what I want to say is, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think what in your structure here, because the students are bringing things to the table and then you're asking questions, there are all sorts of times that open up where, right, this is my explicit instruction moment. And in that moment, you are 100% teacher directed because it's coming from you to the student. So rather than it all being teacher centered, lecture style, everyone's listening for 15 to 20 minutes, whatever, and then we set off that they do some activities, it's many more moving parts, and different opportunities come up. And so some of your explicit instruction might be to half the class or to 3 students or to the whole class, but it's little slots of explicit instruction, didactic instruction, teacher-centeredness in amongst this melting pot of everything that's going on. And I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah. It has to be organic. So and you have to be, I think, unafraid of letting the class drift a little bit into something new and follow what's interesting to the students as well. And then if you need to, you can then bring it back to, actually, you know what, we're moving towards an exam or an essay, or there's a target here that you need to really understand this bit. And then you can bring them back to that and say, well, how does what we're talking about reflect on this? And then, bring it together. And I think it's often what you were saying earlier about, having a set of lessons. This is what you have to do. This very kind of, cookie cutter approach is teachers need to be unafraid of saying, actually, you know what, I am an expert in this subject. I am, a teacher. I'm a pedagogue. I've been doing this for whatever, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. I have the experience to manage this group of young people and to take the conversation along that pathway towards something that's actually really interesting. And that can be used in a variety of different ways. And I think, for me, what I'm always keen on is encouraging teachers to really kind of push it out there, but to really frame it within their own experiences, within their own expertise, and within their own sets of skills. So they're not thinking, oh, I have to teach like him, or I have to teach like them, or I have to do this. Instead, it can be, I've got one job. Help these kids get passionate and get better at this set of skills, and then move them on to their targets and what it is they want to do post school, and not think about exam scores, but think about just encouraging and passion and drive and getting them interested in the subject. And if you can do that, then the rest of it will take care of itself